York City, founder of Geltrude and Company, Dan Geltrude. Dan, thank you so much for joining me. So Dan, I was a little confused when I heard about the rebranding and the new name. I kept checking my phone. I was like, oh, is Facebook going to be called Meta now? And is Instagram, it's like, is it all going to be renamed? No, so it's just Facebook has the rename. Everything else pretty much stays the same. But what do you make of the timing of this? Some people were wondering if this may have had something to do with the fact that Zuckerberg was getting hammered from both sides over some of the things we learned from the whistleblower recently over at Facebook, the two whistleblowers that came forward?
Well, it could be, Stephanie, right? Because what has been branded now as, the Facebook papers or whatever it is, as far as what's really going on in the Facebook world, meaning that they know that the things that they are doing or some of the things that they are doing are very harmful to people, but they're doing it anyway. Could that have something to do with it? Maybe. But if you really look at what Mark Zuckerberg is doing, he is talking about changing the direction of this company from the standpoint of going towards this, what we'll call alternate reality, alternate universe, this metaverse. Now, as you said, we've been locked down for almost 2 years now. Do we really need to go to living even more on the screen? I don't know. But if he is creating what would be equivalent to the new internet, where people get to live in this alternative life or whatever you want to call it, I don't know. I think people are always trying to escape, and maybe Mark Zuckerberg is going to be the ultimate travel agency now in taking you wherever you want to go away from your current reality.
Yeah. Now, of course, again, people are questioning the timing of this, which I don't think it would really help him because people would continue to criticize him. So if, according to the whistleblowers, their internal documents over at Facebook is that social media and these platforms were harmful to young people using them, like, wouldn't the metaverse be the same thing, if not worse? So that's why I'm a little skeptical about that. But I will say, though, if you remember, Facebook did acquire Oculus, which is the virtual reality type goggles. It was like a $2 billion deal a few years back. And I don't know if you've tried the Oculus, Dan, but it's kind of cool. I've tried them before. And it did have that metaverse virtual reality type thing where you would wear it and you'd feel like you were inside a room talking to other people. When I used it, the technology was pretty impressive. I would imagine now in 2021 and going forward, it would probably seem even more lifelike.
I'm sure it is, Stephanie. Look, I think that people are always trying to escape and they're always dreaming of something better. And if Meta and Mark Zuckerberg can provide that, and as you're saying, it really is, it appears to be real, I think it could really have a tremendous draw of people wanting to try this out and be part of this metaverse. As far as Facebook goes, though, in general, I think what Mark Zuckerberg should be doing is putting his ego aside and perhaps selecting a different spokesperson for Facebook. I don't know how likable Mark Zuckerberg really is in the public eye. My gut feeling is well, he's not the most well-liked person. So why not put someone else out in front and let him stick to the direction of the company and where they want to take technology? Because that's really where the value is. Facebook changing their name to Meta, not a big deal. Changing the direction of the company, changing the direction of future technology, now that's a really big deal.
Yeah. And then we saw this. I mean, obviously, there's excitement, enthusiasm, and curiosity into this. And Canadian stocks soared after investors confused it with Facebook's Meta. And the company has nothing to do with it, but their stocks started soaring because people thought that it had something to do with it, right?
Yeah, it's a company in Canada called Meta Materials.
Yeah.
And when the name Meta got out there, people said, "All right, well, let's jump on this. Let's be the first ones to do this. Get in on the ground floor of this change and new technology and all this." But of course, it was the wrong company. So I guess the company benefited, and if people were smart that own that particular stock, well, maybe they got lucky to time the market and were able to get out at the right price. But yeah, they had the wrong company, mistaken identity.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because obviously there is excitement over this, and it's new and it's interesting. So we'll see where it goes. And I'm not against it. Like I said, I've used the Oculus before. I found it to be pretty fascinating that technology can take us there. But in moderation, little doses. Same thing with social media, because again, we don't know like the full-term, long-term consequences of spending so much time on these apps. Well, Dan, we're going to leave it here. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Steph.
Of course.